It's another interview at the Oklahoma Historical Society Indian Art Show, visiting with Bill Flores. That's Flores. Bill Flores is an Indian artist with a unusual and different and very humorous style in much of his work. We want to get a little bit into his background and just visit with him briefly about his style and what he is trying to do. Bill, to begin with, what is your Indian background?
My tribe is Cherokee Papago. My father's tribe was from Arizona, Tucson area. My mother's tribe is Cherokee, and she was raised around Claremore and Inola area, eastern Oklahoma. Basically, that's my tribal heritage.
What part Indian are you?
Three-fourths.
Three-fourths Indian.
Three-fourths Indian, right.
Bill, I've seen a number of your things. The thing that to me sets it apart in many ways from a lot of other art is a very definite sense of humor that so much of your art has in it. Why don't you tell us a little about your concept of art and where you, how you developed this particular style that you have?
Well, my idea was basically is that I found out a long time ago that the Indians have a sense of humor. And to enlarge on this, I've just taken situations that would happen, it could happen to anyone actually, but what generally happens to the Indians and for hunting, what was happening on a hunting incident, and accident probably would happen, result from this. But basically the light side is my approach of Indian art, the subject matter. The style, I use a very definite wash drawing technique. It's not the flat drawing art that most Indian artists use. It's because that I've studied commercial art at various schools, and from this I've started this technique.
One of your pieces was fairly well known to people, were the Kermagi glasses that were given away a number of years ago. Isn't that correct?
Yes, that's right. It's not generally known, but there was four designs that were made on the glasses, four designs, four glasses, and as I understand, they gave out 130,000 dozen of these as promotional to sell gasoline. So I don't think you'd have to worry about this today in our gasoline shortage. You couldn't give those glasses away.
I saw a cartoon the other day that someone that you have to give the attendant glasses in order to get gas.
That's right. That's right. Of course, those I understand now that some of those are collector's items, and I've heard them as being sold as high as $2 each now. So when they were first made, I think they were about 6 or 8 cents each. If you just go out and buy one.
What is your have you participated in other Indian events other than the art itself?
No, basically that's all that I've really been interested in. I haven't. I'm not a dancer of any sort. Just Indian art's all I've really been interested in. Of course, now recently I've gone into the serious side of Indian art. Some of the more dramatic things that are done, but only in my technique style that I'm using on this.
I don't remember now which picture did we make a photograph of you with? Could you tell? Do you remember which one it was?
Yes, it was the Cheyenne Autumn. It was a gnarled tree with 2 teepees in the background, and there would be a peyote meeting in the progress. You can see the silhouettes of the Indians inside with the campfire and such, and it'd be at night, of course, and then the moon and smoke drifting up from the teepees. But it was a comparison between nature and man. How you have to just the gnarled tree. I mean, I'm talking about just the everyday trials. What happens to us?
Do you try to have some kind of a message in all of your art?
No, not necessarily a message, maybe a thought, but not a message, no.
You've been active, Bill, I know, in trying to help develop an arts and crafts program that would be beneficial to Indians of Oklahoma as a whole. Why don't you tell us a little about that?
Well, the name of this is called One Eye, Oklahoma Native Enterprises Incorporated. Our main goal is to collect all of our artists and craftsmen into a group that can soon set up a world market of Indian wares. And if this should come about, then the Indians, craftsmen, should be able to get a fair price, and also the people would know where they are and all this. Basically, that's the whole program.
What progress have you made? I know that at one time I sat in with y'all in a meeting where you were talking about the railroad station, and that fell through.
Mm-hmm.
What progress have you made in this effort up to this point?
Well, actually, we had been shooting for some governmental funds, grants, and et cetera. But at this time, everything's been frozen, so everything's at a standstill, although we do have a lot of people that are behind us and working to this end, and I see it coming to one of these days. It should gel. It's just sort of in limbo at this time.
Do you feel that a great deal of the old Indian crafts have been lost as a result of no market?
I think it's a little bit of this, but I think basically it's the fact that a lot of our younger people are not interested in continuing to do these arts and crafts, because there is a noticeable loss and a big gap in a lot of things that a lot of our people don't do anymore. It's just a lost art, actually. But I hope through this program we'll start pulling some of these back.
What do you feel about the importance of preserving a certain amount of the old Indian heritage?
Oh, I think it's something we need to do. I think that there's more preserved than most people realize. I think that there's an awful lot there, because to give you a good example, I was one of the judges at this latest, the first Miss Indian Oklahoma pageant contest, and we had a chance to question some 14 contestants, and they were from various tribes in Oklahoma. And I would, personally, I'd felt that our younger generation had really gone down the drain, but after talking to these girls, interviewing them and such, it brought back my complete feeling on the Indian youth. We don't have to worry about, well, not totally the Indian youth, but all of our youth of America today. I believe that they know what's going on, so we don't have to worry about that. It'll take time, but it'll swing back.
What do you think is going to happen to this AIM movement? Do you think it's will die a slow death, or what?
I have no comments on that. I'm not familiar with their total program. I, like most Indians, do not agree with their tactics. We agree with their thoughts and what they plan to do, but I'm not familiar with their total program.
What advice would you give to a person who is interested, whether Indian or not, young person who's interested in going into creative art?
I would say if they're interested, just stay in there, practice anything, any types of crafts. It's something you just can't pick up, you can't do. I've been painting over 20 years myself, and I'm still learning things in the arts and crafts, but you have to just practice. Practice is the key. And if most people would realize this, then kids that are starting, they just can't walk out and do a particular thing, because they've got to just hang in there. That's all I can tell them, is just practice.
Thank you very much. This has been an interview with Bill Flores at the Indian Art exhibit at the Oklahoma Historical Society.